I'm Tanya Ellis, the Director of Regency Education. We're educational consultancy based in London. I'm joined today by Heather Rhodes, Head of Harrow School Online. Harrow School is one of the world's most famous and prestigious schools. Its reputation is outstanding for both its high academic standards and its history. To develop an online offering for such a prestigious institution isn't an easy task and has been made possible by a partnership with Pearson. So, Heather, my first question to you, what in your view are the trends in education, and do you think that in the future more education is going to be online?
Thank you very much for such a flattering introduction. So in terms of why Harrow School went on to create Harrow School Online in partnership with Pearson, this predates COVID-19, so it's nothing to do with the emergency online provision that's going on around the country right now. It may be a little surprising, with Harrow being a traditional public school. We were originally founded in 1572, so what on earth are we doing launching an online school? Well, the aim is to broaden access to a high quality British education, reaching out to students across the world, creating a community of learners that spans continents, and also to serve those students who might perhaps be better suited to learning online rather than in a physical classroom. So part of the reason for wanting to launch an online school is, I think we've all seen the trend towards harnessing technology for education, and Harrow School wanted to be at the forefront of this to try and shape the future of online education for the better.
Harrow has exceptionally high standards, doesn't it? How are you going to ensure that Harrow Online keeps those standards?
Our Harrow School governors would not have gone into agreement with Pearson to launch Harrow School Online if they weren't certain that we would be able to provide something that matched Harrow School standards. And there's quality assurance from Harrow School in the Harrow School Online offering. So our admissions criteria and our expectations for students' exams and university destinations are mapped to those of Harrow School. And the Harrow School heads of department have been fundamental in helping us set up the self-study aspects of the courses at Harrow School Online and providing quality assurance to vouch for the materials.
For our viewers to imagine what it's going to look like at Harrow School Online, is the curriculum exactly the same as in Harrow, or is it different? Maybe could you describe a typical day or maybe a week in Harrow School Online, please?
Again, that's a really good question, and actually the typical day at Harrow School Online is fairly different to a typical day at Harrow School. One of the mistakes that schools have made in the current situation where they're forced to go online is to try and deliver their entire timetable using online virtual conferencing, so rooms like Zoom or Teams, and without any adaptation of that timetable for online learning. And a major issue with this is that live online lessons are far more intensive and therefore more tiring than normal classes. Unless teachers have been trained to teach online, their classes tend to be a little bit less interactive and more lecture style, and with less opportunity for students to give feedback about how much they understand. And even a well-designed lesson online is more demanding. We think that's probably because teacher and students tend to be more focused actually in a virtual classroom. There are fewer distractions around them. That means that if you replicate a school timetable where you have back-to-back 40 or 45-minute lessons throughout the school day, at the end of that virtual day, both students and teachers can be left exhausted and struggling to concentrate. So we take a different approach at Harrow School Online, which is based on pedagogy that we know works effectively in online schools. One of the great things about our partnership with Pearson is that they have an online school in the USA that's extremely successful, has been running for around 20 years, currently serving around 80,000 students. So there's a wealth of learning from that school. So the approach can be really targeted and individualized, and it's also much more flexible because the self-study lessons don't need to be studied at particular times. That means that there's far more flexibility in the week of a student at an online school. They can schedule their lessons at times that suit them, times perhaps that they're most focused, most concentrated, and they can make sure they mix in the academic study with the extracurricular approach. And of course, the extracurricular program is really important, and that sense of school community, probably more important now in current times than ever before. So at Harrow School Online, we ensure that we have a really rich extracurricular program. All those clubs and societies and virtual assemblies and talent shows, our student newspaper, we're basically making the most of any opportunity to help us to forge a sense of community and belonging.
May I ask you about the A-level results? They are obviously vital for gaining a place at university. Do you know the response of the universities for that online A-levels? Do they trust the quality? Is there any other things they require from the pupils that study online? How do you help the pupils that aspire to university places after your course?
Before we launched Harrow School Online, we checked with the university admissions departments of the top universities in the UK and the US, the Russell Group in the UK, including Oxford and Cambridge, to make sure that a A-level qualification gained through Harrow School Online would carry the same weight as an A-level qualification gained elsewhere. And they all responded that yes, they do. It's actually the same certificate that you come away with if you've attended a physical international school. We're offering international A-levels at Harrow School Online, and that's the version of the qualification that's more common to take if you're overseas. Within the UK, we offer A-levels, but both the national and international versions are on a par with each other. As far as university entrance goes, they're quite happy to accept either of those certificates. But of course, it's not just about the exam results. And as you've hinted at, universities look at far more than that. They want to know that a student has explored their chosen subject beyond what is required for the exam syllabus. They want to see that a student is motivated to learn and that they have the ability to plan and structure and research work and basically have all of those independent study skills. We offer elective courses where students are studying something that's above and beyond the A-level syllabus. An example would be superphysics or ethics. So some of those courses are kind of sideways extensions, and other ones add a little bit of stretch to the subject that a student perhaps wishes to go on and study at university. We invite excellent guest speakers and lecturers, both to Harrow School and then video them for Harrow School Online, and then also to speak directly to Harrow School Online students. And we give students the chance to play a prominent role in setting up clubs and societies and running those. I think it's important to be mindful of the need for students to have those opportunities to shine and to make sure that they're provided those opportunities through the school.
Thank you. That's a very comprehensive answer. Thank you very much. You mentioned, so university applications, you need as standard minimum 3 A-levels in 3 subjects. So is there any limitations of what subjects your pupils in Harrow Online can take? And is there, do particular combinations that you offer to the pupils?
Yeah, well, there are no limitations to the combinations of subjects, but from this September, we're only offering a limited range of subjects. And the reason for that is that the self-study courses that I've spoken about take such a long time to develop. So our courses from this September are maths, further maths, physics, chemistry and economics. I suppose with the one limitation is, of course, you need to take maths if you're going to take further maths. That's actually a combined course, the way it's designed. And the combination of those subjects can open up a wide range of courses at university. We went for those subjects because they were the ones that tended to be most popular with our international students at Harrow School, and the subjects that we could see that students, there was a big uptake of students taking these subjects for the international A-level examinations through Edexcel.
So what is the process of sitting the exams? Can the pupils sit the exams in their country? I assume that's a very international community of pupils you will have. How does the process happen? So say there's a student in China or in Russia and they want to sit the exams. How does it happen?
So we advise that a student of where their nearest examination centre is, you can sit the exams all over the world. Most of the world, the easiest place to access to sit these exams are British Council centres. And China, for example, there are British Council centres across the country, and we assist the student with the registration process and the application process. So we liaise with them basically over which exam centre might be most appropriate for them. If it's a student who's in between two different centres, then we make sure we speak to them to find out where they would rather take the exam. I think in Russia we're not using British Council centres, but we're using Pearson examination centres, which are spread across the country. So there are plenty of options across the world for places to take those exams. It doesn't matter where you take the exam, but you will be registered as a Harrow School Online student. So your certificate will come back saying that you're on the certificate. It says the school, so it will have Harrow School Online as part of your international A-level certificate.
Thank you. Earlier you mentioned a success coach. What exactly is the purpose of coaching, and does it help with university applications or future employability?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about that a little bit earlier. Absolutely, that role is designed to assist students with their longer term aims. So we have tutors who look at short-term academic goals, and we have success coaches who work with students to help them think about what career they might be interested in. Working back from that, look at what they'll need to do in order to prepare themselves for that career, what kind of university course they might need to take, what universities might be right for them. And they support the student in planning their kind of extracurricular and extension work, which will put them into a good position to apply for that course at university.
At Regency, we currently have a couple of clients who use homeschooling. And our tutors, they provide this structure for them and prepare them for their exams. And I can see how Harrow Online could be a very valid alternative to those families. Families that want perhaps to lead a more mobile lifestyle. They want to travel, or alternatively, maybe for families where children want, the families want the top education for their children provided by Harrow brand, but to stay at home with the families. So is that the kind of pupils you are looking for Harrow Online, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. we've had applications from such a wide range of students, and everybody seems to come with slightly different reasons for wanting to study at an online school. But those are all things that we've heard previously, that for students who need that flexibility, or for students who want to have a maybe slightly more individualized approach to education that they can't get from their current school. Perhaps they're looking to move, and so they want to have a school that works for them wherever they might be living in the next 2 years. So those are all, I suppose, fairly typical stories from students who choose to apply to Harrow School Online.
Can I ask you about the price of Harrow School Online? How does it compare to your boarding school, to Harrow? Less? Can I ask you that?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. So obviously, being an online school, we don't have to pay for the upkeep of a 450-year-old a site just northwest of London. So it's and the accommodation and the food. We don't have any of those kind of costs. So we can offer a much a school fee that really covers the tuition and the academic side without the additional costs involved in boarding. We offer our annual course fee of £15,000, and most of the students with us will take 3 A-levels, but they could take 4 or even 5 if they're particularly strong and ambitious candidates. And it's the same fee regardless of how many A-levels you take. We do also offer individual A-levels. Again, that's through requests from clients. We had originally expected that everybody who wanted to study with us would want to study a full A-level programme, but there are some cases where students actually just want an additional single A-level or couple of A-levels to complement the whatever they might be studying with a physical school. And in those cases, it's £4,500 per A-level.
Brilliant, thank you. So the new Harrow School Online has been launched this year, and in my view presents an outstanding opportunity for a high quality education online. In conclusion, is there still places available for September 2020, Heather?
There are still places available. If you're interested in studying with Harrow School Online, I would advise you to think about making that application sooner rather than later, because at the moment we're finding there's a lot of interest from students who have had to change their previous plans for the coming September. And there are places available at the moment. We will continue accepting applicants until the point at which we're full and we're unable to take any more students. We accept applicants at any point through the year, so it's on a rolling basis rather than a particular deadline. And just the advice is apply early if you're keen to secure a place.
Thank you very much. That'll be all from me. Thank you so much for joining me today and giving us such an informative talk on this new, very exciting proposition of Harrow School Online. Do get in touch with either myself or Heather. You will find us on website. I will put the website links below this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. It's been a real pleasure. I appreciate you inviting us to speak to you and to your families.
My pleasure too.